So we have a lot of programs over at the South Bay Adult School, and I wanted to try and give you the information about what they are, what's going on currently, talk about some of the expectations that the state has for us coming up, some partners that are helping us to get the information out, and some of the things that are going to be on the horizon for us. So the first program that goes on over at the South Bay Adult School, I wanted to touch on our fee-based classes first. And our fee-based classes include, for example, community education. A lot of these classes are things like guitar, we have screenwriting, we have added a couple of fun classes and some partnerships. One is which we typically don't do, we don't do classes for students under the age of 18, but we are doing ACT and SAT classes over at Redondo Union High School. They are going on as we speak. We also have a new relationship with the Groundlings Theater Company in Hollywood, and they are going to be offering a class on campus, their intro to the rest of their program. They have a full improv and acting class session that they do, and some online classes through Ed2Go as well. We also have our parent education classes. These are pay-for classes, and if you had your kids early on in the South Bay, many people have done Mommy and Me, and that's exactly what those classes are. We continue to do those, and those are going on over at Pacific Elementary School. I'm part of their campus in Manhattan Beach, and also in a few classrooms at the Manhattan Beach preschool. Again, fee-based, and the interesting thing is that at one point a lot of these classes were actually subsidized through ADA. We used to actually get money from the state. We no longer do. So these are all classes where the monies that we get in actually support the classes themselves. And we also have a state preschool program. If you've driven by our campus, you see that big fun playground that we have out there that's really great. And we are going to be continuing that program. We're going to actually move it to a fee-based classes starting in the fall. So that's the side of the house that has to do with people that are paying tuition for being in the classes. Wanted to have, first of all, Dina Matheson, who's our new lead instructional teacher over at South Bay Adult School, is going to talk about ESL.
Thank you. Oh, this is really loud. So at South Bay Adult School, our ESL classes consist of language classes, conversation classes, and citizenship. All of our classes include EL Civics. And what EL Civics are ways that students can learn practical skills that they need to use outside the classroom. For example, making medical appointments, banking, filling out applications, and also because many of our students are also parents, communicating with the school as far as parent-teacher conference and what to ask. Our school and our curriculum are all based on California Adult Education Standards. Similar to the CASP, our students take a CASAS test. We use that test to monitor the student's progress throughout the levels, but also to determine when the student has completed the language part of our course and when they can partake in exciting opportunities that we also offer. And more to speak on that is our South Bay Adult School counselor, Brett Pluman.
Good evening. So we also have our adult basic education, adult secondary education, and our general education diploma programs. These programs are for folks who have been unable to complete their high school diploma. They're coming from us in the United States and from outside of the United States. The clientele is diverse, ranging in age from 18 to older than myself. Our enrollment currently sits at 223 with at least 40 more coming in at the end of the month. We work closely with these students to build educational plans with them, and many are co-enrolled in our ESL classes and our amazing career pathway programs. So our career pathways, we have a wonderful arrangement and partnership with El Camino College. We built 5 career pathways. Last year we started with our machine tool technology, construction technology, and our healthcare emergency medical technician certification. This year we added our child development pathways. In the coming days we'll be rolling out our Cisco certification pathway. The goal of these pathways is to provide folks with a short-term certificate to get them into jobs that they pay decent wages, the jobs are going to be around for a while, something they can take pride in. Some of the students also choose to continue their education. They got a taste of college. We provide support in many ways. I talked about a taste of college. We are paying for their college classes that are credit bearing, so they already will get some transcripted classes through these programs. We will provide support with their books, their materials, their uniforms, whatever they may need for those classes. We also give them a lot of guidance with resume writing and then ultimately job placement. So really amazing, these career pathways. So if you're thinking about a change in direction, see me.
So a lot of what you're hearing both Dina and Brett talk about has to do with the fact that we have a new framework for supporting immigration. It's no longer just learn the language and go, good luck. No, can you get a mortgage? Can you get home loans? Can you find elder care? Can you find child care? All of these different pieces have to do with the framework, and none of it works unless we're actually communicating this to the students that we're looking for. And I just wanted you to hear real quickly from our partnership with Approach, who's helping us with social media marketing to find these students that we know that are out there. Oops. Sorry. And there we go.
Hi everyone, it's Megan Schroy, founder and president of Approach Marketing. As you know, we've been partnering with Drew and the team from the South Bay Adult School to leverage the latest technologies in social media marketing in the education space. We're moving away from the printed course catalogs of the past to a new marketing approach that allows us to engage with our audiences in real time, 24 hours a day. Leveraging tools like real-time language translation and hyper-local targeting, we're able to get the South Bay Adult School story in front of the right audiences at the right time. I'm so excited to show you what we can do, and I thank you for the opportunity.
So with all of this, we're talking about doing a lot of things. We're growing. We're going to need more space. We're going to need more teachers, and we're working on that. We're partnering with them to do that. And while we're bringing all these people in, it is also critical that the product that we're giving them is good. And so Dina and I are definitely working together to make sure that we have quality GLAD strategies. You've heard that with the K-12. We're making sure that the classes that are going in front of these students are the best possible classes. And we're also making sure that we're maximizing our partnerships that we have with all of these different organizations to make sure that we are giving our students the best possible adult education experience. So with that, thank you very much for your time. Do you have any questions?
Well, you say you're going to need more space. Where's that space coming from?
So we're exploring it. You know, like we have partners. Is there a way that we can use our partnerships? Is there space at the high school, for example, that's maybe underutilized? Because the high school has plenty of space. I mean, I even hear that at the high school, you know, the principal has a bathroom in his office. It's amazing. So,
You've been to the Groundlings thing, right?
yeah, exactly. So, no, but seriously, we're part of Manhattan Beach Unified. There's lots of different options. There are also private options. I mean, leasing space is another possibility, but right now we're still in an exploration stage to see what really best serves our students.
I know Manhattan Beach has just built a whole bunch of stuff, so they might have some room.
That is very true. Yeah.
So is I assume enrollment is a metric you track.
Oh yes, for sure.
Is it up? It
Yes.
sounds like it's up materially.
It's up. We're seeing right now, especially when it comes to social media. I mean, one of the things they help us with is the data. Data is really, really key to make sure that we're really finding everyone that could be one of those, one of our potential students and potential clients. And so that's the information that we're getting from the exterior, and we're seeing how it impacts every single time we're pushing a program, we're pushing a class or something like that, what's actually happening to the enrollment when we do that.
And is the funding enrollment based? I know.
So the funding for which is where we're doing most of this, on the state funded side, so the ESL side, the career pathways side, and the high school basic and secondary education, yes, that's all state funded. So the more students we get, the more money we get.
Wow.
Yeah. The only difference is that our students are not compelled by the state of California to attend. So we have to make sure we're providing a high quality product. Yeah.
I have a question about the ACT, SAT prep class. Do you have a good enrollment with that?
I think we need to kind of build it up. We got the enrollment that we needed, so those classes are going forward. But typically, the way that parents look for those classes are months in advance. And historically, the way we've done enrollment is we put together the course catalog that you guys have seen, we publish it online, and then we start doing signups, and that's typically occurring within weeks of the following term that's going to start. And what we're noticing is that parents want to plan for those classes months in advance. So right now, we're working with our provider and trying to figure out if there's a way that we can open up registration maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 months in advance. So
I'd imagine once people know it exists, it'll be something that's more in demand.
yeah, and we're very fortunate that we have a very energetic counselor over at Redondo Union High School
Yes, we do.
who was very supportive and helpful in promoting all these things. So
And did I see that you also provide online classes at Ed to Learn? What is that?
Ed to Go.
Ed to Go.
Yeah, it's kind of a mutual beneficial program. So if people come and they sign up for Ed to Go classes through the South Bay Adult School, then we receive funding for that.
And are those for current students or for adult students?
Those are for adult students.
Adult students, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Although I mean they're online classes, so I guess an adult could sign up for it and then let their kid do it. But yeah,
Well, is it, I guess the question be, is it for a student that's enrolled at the high school
No.
to have, okay.
yeah, no, they're definitely focused at adults.
Well, thank you very much then.
Thank you
And
very
to your
much.
team.
Appreciate your guys' time.
Next item is the Congressional App Challenge, Redondo Union High School Student Recognition by Mr. Jens Brandt, RUHS Principal.
Thank you. Well done, Drew. We're all full. Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Keller, district leadership team, Sergio, Ricardo. Appreciate this opportunity as it is one of my favorite parts of the job, recognizing our amazing students at Redondo Union. As I call Julian and Karai to come up and join me, just some brief background. Recently, Congressman Ted Lieu had his Congressional App Challenge prior to the winter break, and our young men here were recognized for their understanding of coding and developing apps. Brad, we're speaking your language, perking up over there. Julian was recognized with first place in the competition, and Karai was an honorable mention. So we're really proud of them, clearly for their creativity and their intellect, and they're bound for success. But I've gotten to know these two young men behind me over the years, and I share this often at various events throughout the school year, back to school night. We're always proud of our students in terms of their AP classes, their SAT scores, and where they're bound for college. But what is more important that they're just good, generous, caring human beings, and there are no better examples than these two young men behind me. So briefly, we are on a time constraint here. They'll share what their apps are and talk a little bit about the process. So thank you to both of you.
Hi everyone. Okay, so the app I made was called Dot Buddy, and it's a tool for marching bands. So I started playing tuba in 6th grade, and I excitedly joined marching band in high school. What I didn't expect, however, is how much mental math is involved with performing your field show. So in order to perform at the best of your ability, you have to march from coordinate to coordinate on the field with, pristine accuracy, and that requires a lot of mental math. Calculating like your step size and your angle of travel and all these different checkpoints or dots that you have to hit relative to the yard lines and the hash marks on the field. So there's a lot of thought that goes into that. So the goal of my app was to basically take all of that effort out and just calculate everything you needed to know with the push of a button. So yeah, so Dot Buddy essentially makes performing a marching band show easier by calculating all these different metrics, instantly, and yeah.
Is this app currently on the App Store? Did you release it?
Yes, it is on the iOS App Store.
iOS only?
It's
No
free.
Android?
Is your team using it? Is your team using it? Sorry, is your team using the app?
Yeah, so there's a good chunk of our marching band using it so that they don't have to
Wait, so are they looking at their phones while they're marching? Like, how does that?
So the app is really useful for getting all the calculations, and then you can actually copy it into our like coordinate books. So you wouldn't necessarily look at it while you're marching, but yeah. yeah, it helps with planning. Yeah. Hello, my name's Karai. So I took AP Government this year, and so we learned in class that not too many like Americans are familiar with their like representatives, you know, because it kind of gets confusing how many there are, you know, state, local, federal. So I wanted to make it easier for people, particularly young people, you know, make it easier, put something on their phone so they have like direct access to finding out who their representatives are from any level, state, local, federal. So what my app does is based on your current location, it'll tell you who your state, local, and federal officials are, and it'll list them out. But also if you're curious, you can select any location in the United States and it'll tell you the representatives for that selected location. Also, something built into my app is a way to communicate with the representatives. So I included a link to their websites, also like their social media, even like their phone number, even though it's probably just like their office phone number. Yeah, so that's iGov. So
And is that also in the App Store and available?
yes, it's free. Yes, iGov.
Apple and
Apple
Android,
and Android.
or both?
Yep, yeah, both. Yeah, iGov, iGov, like iPhone, iGov.
iGov.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Do either one of you want to recognize your
Oh,
family members?
yes, and my father's over there with the camera. If you guys need the recording later, you guys ask him for it. And sitting there is my mom. Yeah, they both helped me a lot with this. Like I couldn't have done it without their help. So yeah, thanks again.
All right, and before you go,
Yeah.
go ahead.
And my parents are sitting next to Karai's mom right here. And thank you guys so much for supporting me along the way.
So, we'll get a picture.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And if you guys didn't get it from what they were saying, my company uses maps. So we do a lot of development. So you can use the intern, and now we're here to reach out for iPhone and Android development. So it's called ePage. I'll get in touch with you guys if I need you. Job interview ever.
You wish it was that easy.
Hey, if I'm gonna give a job to somebody, it's gonna be redundant.
That's great.
And next, exciting one, New Redondo Beach Unified School District logo selection process by Stephanie Schaub, 7th Floor Digital, and Dr. Stephen Keller.
Yeah, and I'll just set the table here for Stephanie. First of all, welcome to Stephanie, who's taking the podium right now. Stephanie's a partner with 7th Floor Digital in Hermosa Beach, right? In Hermosa?
Correct.
Okay. And Stephanie is leading the process for a RBUSD logo reboot design. And so we're very excited. I'm going to have her explain the process, and then I'll kind of backfill the process as it pertains to the process of selection. So Stephanie, take it away.
Yes, thank you for having me here tonight. As Dr. Keller mentioned, I own a small digital marketing firm in Hermosa Beach, and I've had, well, to give you background, we focus on marketing strategy. And I've had the privilege of developing logos for a number of brands, but over the past couple of years included the Hermosa Beach Education Foundation and the Hermosa Beach City School District. And prior to that, I've worked on a logo for a preschool in Santa Monica. So I was really excited to be invited to participate in this project, and I'm really proud to help shape the logo for Redondo going forward. So my role in this project is to help articulate Redondo's vision to designers to help get a successful outcome, and that outcome will be a selection of really top-notch designs. Let me move forward here to the next slide as we talk about this overview. The way that we're going about this is that we're running a logo contest. And what this means is that we are going to invite a talented pool of designers from all over the world to compete by submitting their best designs. And over a period of time, Dr. Keller and I together will give direction to those designers based on the designs that we like, help refine them, and eventually cull it down to a selection of finalists. And what is really unique about this process, and really special about it, is that Dr. Keller is committed to involving the district in the selection process of the logo. So as we near the end of the project, we're going to take about 2 to 3 of the best designs, and they will be distributed to the entire staff to vote and give their feedback on what they like best. So the goals for this project, I think it's probably pretty clear, but we want to make sure that you've got a logo that represents where the district is and where you're going, and that you have a look that is contemporary, but it's also very ownable and it's distinct to the district. And finally, we want a logo that's going to last for a while. It's not something that you should outgrow in a couple of years' time. So recently I met with Dr. Keller and members of his staff, and we really talked through what your vision is for the district, what the role is in the community, and what you'd like to see in a logo, and then finally what you'd like this logo to evoke from those who see it. With all of that information, I'm synthesizing all of that into a creative brief, which is a document that details the concept, the strategy, and the execution of the project, and that is what will go into the hands of designers who are invited to work on the project. So as a quick overview of the process, we had our kickoff meeting last week. The school board overview, of course, is tonight, and the drafting of the creative brief is in process, so I'm working on that, and I will collaborate with Dr. Keller and his team to revise it. We kick off the logo contest in early February on the 4th, and this is all aligned with milestones to sync up with a board meeting so that the board is able to participate as well. We have the staff vote that we just discussed. That will happen on February 10th, and then the final school board vote will happen on the 11th. And the plan then is that all of the final logo files should be in hand by about February 15th, and you can make the plan to move them forward at that point. Quick overview, and then if anyone is curious of some past work, you'll see the Hermosa Ed Foundation and School District, which intentionally are meant to look like relatives, not identical, but they should look like they go together. And then immediately below that is a homepage screenshot of the first school, which is the logo on the top left is one that our agency worked on as well.
Stephanie, do you mind, you get into the nuances of logos. So for example, the Hermosa Beach City School District, what are some nuances you see?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So one thing you want to look at is the emphasis on the city versus words such as education, foundation, or city school district. So you'll see that Hermosa Beach is emphasized in both logos, and you'll see references to colors that we see in our environment, so sky blue and sea ocean kind of blue, and sunset colors. But if we dig a little deeper, on the left, you might notice the starburst is something you've seen on the street signs in Hermosa Beach, the ones that are sort of vintage looking, which by the way is not a sun, it's the windmill that's on the corner of Aviation and PCH, if anyone doesn't know that. But that is intentionally a reference to not only look at the heritage of Hermosa Beach, but to have it represent the future as well, its bright future. On the right, the city school district, again, references rising suns, which is very optimistic, kind of an icon. Circles also suggest inclusivity. So it looks very simple, but it's actually very, very intentional. And the clustered circles at the bottom suggest that kind of the more intense period of your schooling from K through 12. And then as the circles start to separate toward the top, it's your kind of launch into adulthood. You were taking your education and all of the feelings of inclusivity in your community and launching off on your own.
That's great. So I'm going to fill in some of the
You thought it was just circles. I know.
It's great. So what I would share, I just want to share a couple pieces. One is I sent a letter to all staff saying that we would be engaged in this voting process, and their participation is very important. So that was sent right when we got back from break. We are going to, on February 10th, have the official day of voting. It's a 12-hour window based on the way these submissions come in from around the world and our timeline. So we're a little tight, but it is what it is, and I think we'll be fine. What we're going to do, I talked to Janet and Nikki a little bit, that we have some classified staff that, quite frankly, because we're going to send this out via email to vote. We have some classified staff that just don't have access to email. We can give them access to email, but they just don't access their email. And so we'll have hard copies. If somebody games it and votes twice, hard copy and email, we'll be fine. But I think we're going to cover all bases and make sure we're being inclusive in this process. So I want to make sure everybody has a chance to vote. And then we're going to bring back, the top, we may bring to staff, it may be 2 or 3, that's probably, it may be 2 or 3-ish, and then bring back to the board all the information we have for the final vote. A lot of times in school districts, board members or boards make this decision. I just think in this process, we're going to get a good temperature from our staff. And don't forget, some of our staff members have been here up to 40 years. So longevity is important. We'd like this logo, as Stephanie said, to be around for some time. So do you have any questions for Stephanie or me?
Well, you mentioned that the Ed Foundation was wrapped around in doing with the school district. So the question I have is that the intention with us in Redondo? And if so, I only ask because otherwise we need to kind of give some more structured guidelines to our crowdsourcing versus just, if we're trying to blend them together. It's not, I'm not mandating it, just asking the question.
Sure, I'm sorry, to make sure I understand the question, is it that you are wondering if the Redondo Ed Foundation?
Well, you said that these logos were kind of worked in tandem together as a city. If we're gonna do the same thing with Redondo's Ed Foundation changed their logos and pathway about 2-3 years ago. So if we're asking people to crowdsource to it, if we're trying to encompass it, we need to give them some framework on what to build around, if you will.
Sure, I think I might turn that question.
Yeah, that's fine. The intention was to create our own, with
is
no
fine.
connection with no connection to others, to start our brand kind of identity. And then ideally, the two shall connect, but I think we really looked at this as a school district endeavor, and not including any other, whether it be Beach City South District, PTA, or what have you, but really creating our own identity. And I think that's been the purpose.
When was the last time their district updated their logo?
Us? 1993,
Okay.
when we unified. Yes.
Have we figured out how much it's gonna cost?
For this
Change
process?
to change our logo.
It won't be anything exorbitant. It'll be phasing out, stopping the printing of existing logos and then just pushing it out, probably more digitally than anything else, but certainly there'll be some cost. But I think we don't have, reams of logo paper in the warehouse anymore, which is good. I would say 10, 15 years ago, yeah, I think we would have had it. But I think we've evolved, and I think we're a 21st century district, hence the new logo.
So the thought is, did you have a time frame? Because I know, having gone through a rebranding exercise with a previous organization,
Sure.
a lot of it has to do with how quick you change. If you're
Yeah.
an organization that has to, change it overnight, it's
Sure.
pretty expensive. If you're willing to
Yeah,
have
we're,
two
of
logos
course.
for a while, it's less expensive.
I think the goal is to phase it in this year. The goal would be, as Stephanie shared, February 15th, start phasing it in where we can affordably, starting with the website, starting with getting the information out to staff, and then just phasing it in. Anything we're reprinting, obviously incorporate the logo. The good news is, I feel here, we're not, we have a brand. We just don't have a logo that represents the brand. I think that's the way I would share it. You'd probably share it more.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and so we're not chasing something. We don't have to change what we're doing. We just need to change the logo, which I think is a much easier endeavor for an organization. So hats off to the staff for creating a brand that creates a lot of buzz and gets us very impressive enrollment year to year.
Now, will the logo design be made for the fact that we have a lot of stuff that's black and white when we copy stuff? A two-color version that works?
Good question.
Yes, yes, so one of the goals, we didn't put it up here, but legibility is a really clear goal. It needs to be printed in color, and it needs to reverse out. So it needs to be able to be white on black. It needs to be highly visible in digital and print on a T-shirt. So absolutely, that would be, that's a goal.
All right,
Anything else I can answer?
thank you.
Thank you.
See you on February 11th. Thank you.
I look forward to seeing the work as it goes.
I do have one other question. What we see on February 11th is what the staff has already picked?
Yeah,
as
there'll be
their
that
choice
narrowed it down, and you'll see the official voting.
tally for each?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Give it to you.
So we'll
and-
see everything they saw.
Yeah, absolutely.
Student board member report, Sergio Godinez.
Yeah, I'll keep it very short. I hope everyone had a very restful break.
Oh. Stephen's after last.
No, no worries. I hope everyone,
Sorry.
I sometimes do mess it up, so that's fine.
I hope everyone had a restful break. Just really quick, next Wednesday on the 22nd, I have the first Young Leaders meeting of 2020. And then I hope all our seniors have a good run for our second to last finals of senior year. And that's it for me.
All right, thank you. Dr. Keller.
Just getting back to what we were sharing, and I know Stephanie's still here, I'm really excited about this logo chase. I didn't share that we considered this endeavor 11 or 12 years ago, and it wasn't that anyone said no, it's just nobody was excited.
That was just a couple
Drew,
years
Drew
ago.
left. Drew was actually here at that time.
Yes.
But there was just no excitement, no buzz. I think there was plenty of staff members who were hesitant, and so I just really think we can better serve our community and outsiders coming in to really understand who we are by having a logo that really represents who we are. And I like the word evokes an emotion with people coming in or people that are here. All right, so real quickly, congratulations to Ms. Lili Cho, our new Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services. You will formally meet her at the February 11th board meeting, but as I shared with you, I'm happy to get her in to meet with you all sooner. Thank you for a wonderful holiday open house, Project Unified, RBF, PTA, everybody. It's always better to give than to receive in this district, and that's what I'm most proud of. I will see a lot of you in Ontario tomorrow for the School Services of California workshop on the governor's budget. You know, I think if you talk to Janet, it's still, we're in a wait and see mode, but devil's in the details, and we'll have more after tomorrow. And then I want to turn over for something very special. I want you to hold your hats, you know, put your seatbelt on, wake the kids, phone the neighbors. Dr. Wesley has something very special to share with you. It's a video that I think you'll like. Dr. Wesley?
Thank you. Yes, I'm happy to share a video that was created predominantly with the help of Mr. Jason Johnson, so I'll say no more, I'll let you watch it, but I do want you to know the intent of the video is to show it to all of our current substitutes and all new substitutes who are hired as a part of their onboarding process. Along with it will come a new substitute handbook with all types of information that should be helpful to them, and a substitute compact where they will agree to engage students and not play Sudoku and some other things that may occur. I will share that we have some great subs, some amazing subs. We employ them daily, but we don't provide direct feedback or share our expectations in our district. So this is a way to do that without having a training from year to year. So with that, let's watch the video.
Hi there, I'm Stephen Keller, the proud superintendent of schools with the Redondo Beach Unified School District. As you know, every school district has its own unique context. We certainly have ours. We have very high expectations in the Redondo Beach Unified School District, and we have very high expectations for you. So we do our best to hire the best to put in front of our kids. In order for you to have the best experiences possible, we have put together the do's and don'ts in your role as a substitute. So please pay attention, and we cannot thank you enough for your service to our students.
right, dudes and dude ladies, my name is Bob, and I'm here to do some schooling with y'all. Oopsie daisy.
We pride ourselves on professionalism here at RBUSD.
Excellent work.
Business casual attire can include a variety of different looks.
Great work.
But please make sure that you are dressed to impress and that your clothing is functional and appropriate for the environment. We know several of our schools are located near the beach, but that doesn't mean you should dress like you're going to the beach.
Good morning.
Hey kids, have no fear, Bob is here.
Set yourself up for success when you come to work in RBUSD. Make sure that you give yourself ample time to review the lesson plans and review the school's safety details and evacuation map so you're prepared in case of an emergency.
Hey Patty, how are you?
I'm good, Jason. How are you?
I'm great.
And you're going to be subbing for Lori Ham today in room 313. Okay. Here's the key, and then our emergency procedures, so you can look over that.
Okay.
Do you have your time card?
I do. There
Perfect.
you go.
Thank you. If you need to, you can store your lunch down in the teacher's lounge.
Okay.
And lesson plan should be in the classroom. So have a great day.
Thanks, Patty. I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Mr. Bob, shouldn't we clean this place up?
Clean this place up? That's nonsense, little dude. That's what custodians are for.
Okay, Mr. Bob.
It's important to remember that being a respectful sub means cleaning up after yourself and holding your students responsible for leaving the classroom as clean as they found it. It isn't the custodian's job. Your fellow teachers will thank you, and it's a great way to make sure you are asked back.
All right, welcome to my first day of teaching calculus. What'll it be? Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Avatar?
Excuse me, Substitute Bob, I actually need some help.
Young lady, I'm really struggling with Sudoku here. Come on. All right, let me know if you have any questions, anyone.
Engagement is the key to the education of our students.
Does anyone need any help?
Make sure you're following the lesson plans, but also make sure you pay attention and take time to relate with students one-on-one.
Do you have a big backpack? Oh, nice. We're in for the garage. Bob here. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, she's been acting pretty crazy. Okay, I'll send her right up. Kelly, it's time for your counseling session. Go ahead and take all your belongings. I don't think you'll be back for a while. Okay, everyone, put away all the notes and calculators. You can't use either for the tests, except Charlie. Who's Charlie? Oh, Charlie, there you are. All right, Charlie, according to this note, you can use your calculator. Everyone else, go ahead and clear your desks. All right, everybody, selfie time. All right, and got it. All right, make sure to add me on MySpace, and I'll tag you.
What's MySpace?
I don't know.
Hey, Mr. Johnson, do you have an Instagram account I can follow? Sorry, Charlie, I don't have an Instagram account. But honestly, even if I did, I can't engage with students on social media. That said, I really enjoyed teaching your class today, and I hope to be invited back soon, so I'll see you around soon enough. All right, thanks. No problem, Charlie.
RBUSD follows a strict see something, say something policy. If you see something that raises concern, err on the side of safety and alert staff in the front office or the nearest campus supervisor. Your vigilance is essential.
Day. How are you doing, you all? How are you doing? Good job, man.
I had a really good day today. I hope you come back soon.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I hope you had a blast. Great job today. Have a great day, okay? All right, see you later. All right, bye, y'all. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone. All right, have a good day.
RBUSD core values are honesty, integrity, respect, innovation, creativity, excellence, teamwork, collaboration.
With the focus of the social, emotional, academic, and physical needs of each and every student.
Welcome to RBUSD!
So, just so you're clear, it's a little quieter here than I thought. We have a lot of substitutes that come to our schools, and training them is always a chase because they come at different times. And so we want to have a little fun with it, but make sure that everybody coming on our campus knows very clearly what to do and what not to do. And I think this clearly spells it out. And in all my years, 30-plus years in this business, I've never had a sub video given to anybody or a training like that. That's time well spent, and I think it'll survive for a while. Anything else, Dr. Wesley? Anything else you want to share, Dr. Wesley?
No, just reiterate what Stephen said, that this is, I think, the best way to cover it all, and we appreciate that you see the humor in it, but also, at the end of the day, it clearly outlines what we expect and how we can support our subs.
Thank you.
Question, will the subs that are currently in our employ get to see this video?
Yes, it will be given to all of our current subs, and then it'll become part of the onboarding process.
Thank you. Hearing section. This is where the members of the audience may address the board on any topic regardless of whether it is listed on the agenda. However, due to Brown Act regulations, the board cannot engage in public discussion on items not on the agenda. I don't have any advanced written requests. Those would go first. Otherwise, do we have any members of the public that wish to speak to us on comments or questions on agenda items? Or comments, district matters not on the agenda? And we have no public hearings. That brings us to communications. This gives us an opportunity to hear reports from our organizations, starting with the RBTA. CSEA? JJ's first meeting as the official CSEA rep. Thanks for being here. AFT, I don't see anybody in the back. Redondo Beach PTA, I don't think there's anybody here. And Redondo Beach Ed Foundation, I think they're going to come next time, but nobody here. Brings us to our consent calendar. Does anybody wish to pull any of the 10 items?
10.5? 10.1?
Anything else? All right. Do I have a motion for 10.2 through 10.4 and 10.6 through 10.10?
Second.
Student advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 10.3 through 10.5. 10.4 through 10.6. 10.7 through 10.8. 10.9 through 10.10. 10.11 through 10.12. 10.13 through 10.14. 10.14 through 10.15. 10.16 through 10.17. 10.18 through 10.19. 10.20 through 10.21. 10.22 through 10.23. 10.24 through 10.25. 10.26 through 10.27. 10.28 through 10.29. 10.30 through 10.31. 10.32 through 10.33. 10.34 through 10.35. 10.36 through 10.37. 10.38 through 10.39. 10.40 through 10.41. 10.42 through 10.43. 10.44 through 10.45. 10.46 through 10.47. 10.47 through 10.48. 10.49 throug 10.1 is the next one then.
So moved.
All in favor of 10.1, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
That is unanimous then. 10.5.
So moved. Second.
Do you have any
Yeah.
questions?
No questions, just wanted to bring attention to the fact that it's a large dollar amount item, and that Washington's completed the 3 classrooms, so just making note of that.
Thank you. Student advisory vote on 10.5.
Aye.
All in favor of 10.5, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous.
Just to clarify on that one also, the furniture has arrived for Washington Elementary, so that room is equipped and ready to go. So we'll have to get it. Yeah, we're going to use it. We have programs supporting starting now, but I likely will be using it as a formal classroom next year.
All right, thank you. Action items 12.1, approve deductive change order for Balfour Beatty return of contingency for Washington Elementary School new classrooms project.
Moved. Second.
Well, I would strongly recommend approval.
I can't imagine why.
It's a deductive change order, so we didn't spend everything projected, so that will be coming back.
And what is the dollar amount?
$262,000.
That's a good one.
It's a
Actually,
nice one.
Isn't
Or-
this one's
well, what's the-
112,000.
well, the deductive
is 112, right?
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, the
262 is what we just authorized.
right. We'll always take money back, it's good.
Right, but even so, it's always good to get a deductive order.
Yes, it is.
Student advisory vote on 12.1.
Aye.
All in favor of 12.1, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.2, approve emergency resolution 19-20:13 for Jefferson Elementary School retaining wall collapse, awarding engineering contract to DMC Engineering for $46,100.
So moved. Second.
We are bringing this item to you as an emergency resolution due to the timing of the event and the fact that we really don't have the luxury of going through the formal bid process. We are not required, because this is a consulting service, to accept the low bidder on this. We go based upon qualifications. And we have worked with DMC in the past on a retaining wall, as well as on large projects at the high school. So that's why we called them immediately and had them give us a quote.
And for anybody in the audience who doesn't know what this is about, was that there's a smallish, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a huge retaining wall, but it was long but not super tall, that collapsed during one of the last storms into the street, and this is an emergency to fix that. This
Yes.
isn't a long-term project, nothing we knew about until a week and a half ago.
Right, and we
Something.
do need advice, even now, as we shored things up and planned for some delay in getting the drawings put together for the replacement wall. So we've already begun to use the services.
Student advisory vote on 12.2.
Aye.
All in favor of 12.2, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.3, agreement with School Employers Association of California, SEAC.
That's me. As you know, last year we experienced some rate hikes for our medical benefits, and we'd like to avoid seeing hikes as much as we did last year. So we want to work with a consultant with SEAC. We're members of SEAC, and have them come in and explain to us all of the other network options that may be a better option for us. Our goal is to find options that will allow our staff members to keep their same doctors and their same plans, but obviously not experience hikes at the level that we experienced last year. So this is a request to work with SEAC so that we can make sure we make an informed decision and hopefully keep our rates down.
Any other questions? questions, or any questions? All right, student advisory vote on 12.3.
Aye.
All in favor of 12.3, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. Information items, 13.1, an unofficial attendance and enrollment report. I think we have that, don't we? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I've got that in my notes.
Yep, nothing unusual or remarkable to report, a consistent pattern.
Okay. Discussion items, I've got a placeholder here for Southern California Regional Occupational Center. You guys, are we ready for that?
Only just to report that we've had reorganization among the board. I'm out as president. Nancy Cobb from El Segundo is in. Our reps from Palos Verdes Unified has moved out. In her place, Matthew Brack is in. Same with Torrance rep is out, and James Hahn is in. They're going to be meeting on Thursday. I have a conflict for that meeting. We will not be getting school services this month, the report. That will be coming in early February. So I would suggest continuing to carry this forward as an item. As soon as we get that school services report, I would like to have a pretty thorough discussion.
So let's
among the
keep
board
that as a
members on
standing discussion item, and if it's no discussion, it's no discussion.
Right. Thank you.
Communications, correspondence, I've got an invitation from Ted Liu. He's got the 5th Annual Service Academy Day on Saturday, February 29th, 2020, from 1 to 4 p.m. at the LA Air Force Base. If there are any students, parents, or constituents that are interested, you can contact his office, but you have to register in advance since it's on the Air Force Base, and they need to know who's there and be able to have them cleared to get in. But if there's anybody interested in attending Air Force Academy, any of the military academies, that would be the place to go and get that information. Does anybody have any other correspondence?
Have you shared with the high school? Is there any students that actually want to?
I can make sure it gets forwarded to them. It came to my email, but
Yeah, I guess.
I can bounce that email. That brings us to board member reports. Mr. Whitkin.
No report.
Mr. Christensen.
Nothing for this meeting.
Ms. Flynn.
Nothing for this meeting.
Mr. Serkin. Boy, nothing? Okay.
We'll leave it to you, Brett.
Okay, sure.
Unless I'm over with
I'd say
you.
you're all with me at the roundtable luncheon, or many of you were at the roundtable luncheon, where we had a wonderful performance by the Borough kids there. The holiday open house, again, we were all here, and we got to see that excitement, give people stuff, find TVs just sitting out there waiting for people. I also attended the Redondo menorah lighting. It was a cold night, but it was a pretty concise and quick ceremony with some food. And also attended the South Bay Aerospace Alliance meeting. Nothing super new out of that. It's more continuing the same issues of housing and advocacy for some of the bills, such as licensing for spouses, to make it easier for them to come in and be nurses, be teachers, be whatever, without having to go through the California licensing requirements that is usually more difficult. A lot of states have reciprocal arrangements, but California does not. And I think there is I don't remember, I don't have it written down, but there's a Senate bill that is going to be addressing that. This morning I attended Coffee with a Cop. Learned one interesting thing about our resource officer, Toya. She's an experienced barista. She used to work at Starbucks. So she actually spent a little bit of time back there this morning. So if you ever need inside information on Starbucks, I guess she'd be your person to go to. But it was at 9 a.m. and there was not one single high school student in there. So I think with 8 police officers and everybody else there, they knew to clear out and not just sort of hang out and go, oh, I don't have a first period, or I'm sick today. But Actually, I talked to the manager of the Starbucks, and she said the students are pretty good and had no complaints about our students, so that's always good to hear. I guess we'll learn more about the budget tomorrow. I look forward to that. Calendar of events. January 20th, Martin Luther King Day, there will be a inaugural Martin Luther King Day ceremony at the City Hall, 5 p.m. on January 20th. January 28th is our next Board of Education meeting, 5:30 p.m. closed session tentatively, 6 p.m. open session. February 11th, Board of Education meeting after that. And then February 14th and 17th are Lincoln and Washington holidays respectively. Do we have any future agenda items? And guess that brings us to, anybody want to make a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
Student advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.